The Italian national football team is nicknamed Gil Azzurri in reference to their t-shirt colors. However, Italian football fans are going to be feeling a whole different kind of blue after missing out on World Cup qualification for the second successive time. Yes, you heard that right. The defending European champions will not be playing in the World Cup for the second straight time. They heartbreakingly missed out in 2018, and now, having lost in this one-off playoff to North Macedonia, they will not be part of the 2022 World Cup taking place in Qatar as well. Most fans will agree that it was a match that Italy could and should have won very easily. After all, in every statistical metric possible, or should I say in almost every statistical metric possible, they dominated the game from start to finish. There was just one place where they weren't good enough, and that was with their finishing. 32 shots, 16 of which were inside the box, 5 of which were on target, none converted. North Macedonia, by contrast, managed to convert their one really good chance that came in injury time and thus killed off entirely whatever little hope the Italians had. For North Macedonia, this is quite the big deal. After all, they have never ever made it to the World Cup before, and now they actually have a chance if they can win the second playoff match, which takes place against Portugal. However, it is a disaster of epic proportions for the Italian national football team, who will once again be facing a long-time, big-time inquiry into what exactly it is went wrong. And the horror show is evident in the statistics of the Italian national team showing in this particular match itself, but also the long-term statistics that are going to be seen, which we will be looking at in just a bit. It does not make for good reading if you're an Italian national football team fan, so I would suggest you close your eyes but still continue watching this video anyway. But here it is. Here we are going to look at the major statistics that are actually mind-boggling when you think about it, that Italy, 4-time world champions, have not been able to qualify for the World Cup 2 straight times now. In fact, if you look at the numbers which are behind me, it tells the story for itself. This is the second straight time, last time being 2018, now for 2022, that they will not be part of the World Cup. It says a lot that they have now missed the last 2 World Cups on the trot. Yet before that, they had only ever missed 2 other World Cups in history. That means that they've only missed 4 World Cups in the history of the FIFA World Cup. And it's worth noting that of those 4, there was one particular World Cup which they chose not to go to, which was the inaugural World Cup of 1930, where they chose not to travel to Uruguay. The only tournament that they have not, in fact, qualified for before 2014, before 2018 and 2022 is, of course, 1958. Since then, from 1962 to 2014, they made every single World Cup, even winning 2 of them. Thus, and this is going to be, it's also very interesting to note that this was Italy's first ever loss in a World Cup qualifier at home. Yes, the match took place in Palermo, and this was the first time that Italy have lost a World Cup qualifying match at home. What a time for that loss to come. Before this game, they had won 48 games, which were World Cup qualifiers, and drawn the remaining 11. It was a daunting record, and that was just one of many reasons why nobody really gave North Macedonia a chance. Yet, here we are. North Macedonia right now have a chance of still making their maiden World Cup. Italy, very much out. The defending European champions, no less, and this would be one of those rare cases where a team just less than 1 year ago won their Continental Cup in very, very dramatic circumstances. Yet, they are not going to be part of the World Cup. Europe, the hotbed of football around the world, and the strongest team in Europe currently, Italy, won't be there at all. Of course, social media as such was awash with a ton of reactions, and now we are going to take a look at what we think were some of the best reactions, whether it be statistical, whether it be insightful, and there might just be some humor in here for you guys as well. First key reactions here comes our way from renowned football journalist Fabrizio Romano, where he points out just how bad things have been for Italy in World Cup years. Their last World Cup game was against England, which was, as you can see, 2,839 days ago. Their last World Cup knockout game, incidentally, was the 2006 World Cup final, which they won. Since then, they've not been part of the knockout stages. In 2010, they fell in the group stages. The exact same thing happened in 2014. And another key thing which we must look at here are just the statistics, which are mind-boggling to say the least. I mean, North Macedonia had 4 shots to Italy's 32. They had no shots inside the box to Italy's 16. And they only had 2 shots in target, one of which they converted. Possession game tells its entire story of its own. Italy hogged 66% of possession. North Macedonia, by contrast, were looking to sit deep and clear the ball whenever they had the chance, evidenced by the fact that they made 54 clearances in the 90 minutes. If we have to do the very basic math, that means they were making a clearance every 2 odd minutes. That means that the defending European champions, as is mentioned here, will not be at the 2022 World Cup, and that is still something that we can't quite wrap our head around. User points out the rather interesting disparity when it comes to how it is that Italy have fared since winning the World Cup in 2006, their last World Cup victory. 2010, they got eliminated in the group stage. 2014, they also got eliminated in the group stage. 2018 and 2022, they didn't even make the tournament. In fact, it says a lot that during that time, even in the Euros, their form has been somewhat up and down, because in 2012, they made the final. In 2006, they made it to the knockouts, but it was considered, they were considered underdogs in that particular year. And in 2020, they went ahead and won the entire thing. So it's been pretty up and down, but many thought that winning the Euro 2020 would be the kickstart of their revival. Instead, they're not going to be in another World Cup. And of course, we have to look at some of the memes which social media has been awash with. This is one from Odds Bible, where there's, of course, this is a particular image that was made pretty popular from the Euro 2020 final when Giorgio Chiellini was pulling back Bukayo Saka. And now they're saying that this is essentially North Macedonia stopping Italy from making it to the World Cup. Personal favorite, as you can see, it's an old Tom and Jerry meme, and it's showing Italy laughing at the underdog or the little dog of Macedonia, and then Macedonia doing this to Italy. And to be fair, this is a conversation that I had with quite a few people where they said, yeah, there's no way that North Macedonia are going to beat Italy. Well, never discount the underdog when it comes to football. But enough about the slain beast or the slain giants. Instead, let's look at North Macedonia, the giant killers who, amazingly, are in with a chance of making it to the World Cup for the first time ever. Now, it's worth noting that North Macedonia, after seceding from Yugoslavia, was a country only in 1991. Yes, that means the country is a little over 20 years old as things stand. And they've never ever played in a FIFA World Cup. In fact, Euro 2020, which they qualified for thanks to some decent showings in the UEFA Nations League, it was the first ever multi-team football tournament that they had ever qualified for. Of course, they got knocked out in the group stages after a pretty poor showing if you look at it from a relative standpoint, but they did all right considering it was their first major tournament, and they didn't really boast any major recognized names except for skipper Goran Pandev, who's not only the highest goal scorer, also their most capped player. In fact, North Macedonia have established something of a reputation as giant killers in all of this time, because during the World Cup qualifiers, they may have lost once 4-0 to Germany, but they also beat Germany 2-1. Yes, Germany, the world champions in 2014, a team that has also won 4 World Cups, were beaten by tiny little North Macedonia in the World Cup qualifiers. The result didn't do too much to dent Germany, but it did a lot to boost North Macedonia's chances of finishing second and thus getting into the playoffs. So it cannot be understated just how big a result this and the Italy match was. Will they be able to slay yet another giant in Euro 2016 champions Portugal? I guess time will tell. And this is it for our latest bit of analysis from the world of football. If you enjoyed this, please do let us know in the comments, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. As always, my name has been Shane Dias, and thank you very much for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today. Thank you very much.